Hello everyone, my name is Anthony Cummins and today I'm going to start you off on a new series called The Way of the Samurai. Now what this is, it's a series that's going to teach you the different ways of the samurai and how to follow the way of the samurai. All our information is based on a school called Natori Ryu. They're all 17th century documents, they're all translated from their original Japanese and they're available in English, and I'm going to be taking you through each of the lessons and the different areas of mental attitude to be a samurai. Now this is the book, it's called The Book of Samurai, and this is Natori Ryu. And these are the first 2 scrolls of the series, and the series will probably be about 8 books in total as we publish and go along. So today this intro will be longer than normal, so if you don't make it all the way through this video, don't give up on the series, keep with video 2, 3 and 4 etc. It's just that this is going to be a little bit longer because I need to explain what's going on. So first off, we have to realise that we can't be samurai. You can't be a samurai or you can't be a ninja. That's just an impossibility. And I don't think anybody out there should want to be that. You are who you are and you're in your own social position. So don't try and use this to escape and get out and live in some fantasy world. It's not about living in a fantasy world. It's not about role play, meaning like, I'm pretending to be a samurai of a certain era. It's not anything, it's not cosplay, it's not anything of that nature. It is simply a group of people coming together, and we all talk on Natori Ryu Hub on Facebook, and we discuss what's going on in the books and how we can bring this into our lives. I don't mean modernise it, there are different places for that, but how can we understand the way of the samurai and learn from it? So let's start. So first of all, remember you can't really be a samurai. But that's not a bad thing. I want to point out that originally samurai didn't exist. They came about because people who were probably physically and mentally better than other people took that position and did the job they did. I'm not saying all of them are good, I'm not saying all of them are bad. Each individual is their own individual person, but what they did do is rise above the other people to show themselves as a ruling military class. So it's a complicated history, but my point is that people who became this class, the original people, or the people who became famous, were the ones who stood out from the crowd. They were the people who could elevate themselves away from the normal, common folk, if you like. Of course, that became then a social position, and it gets lots of social context about it, and then it becomes a title, and then it's passed on by birth, and then to the point where being a samurai is no longer based on your merits, but based on your heritage. So while it's complex, that's the basics you have to understand. So what does this mean for us? It means if we follow the way of the samurai, we have to rise above other people. It means you have to be an officer, you have to be a leader. That doesn't mean you are better than other people, it just means you make yourself a better person. Everybody is born equal, basically, and let me explain that. Of course some people are born disabled, but taking away the disabled people and the way the human is naturally born, the normal human, we all have 2 legs, 2 arms, 1 head, we have the ability to speak and we have the ability to think. We're all equal in that measure. But some people are born into more powerful families, some people are born into money, some people are born looking good, some people are born with diseases, and they're quite hard, they have a tough life. Some people are born with lots of strength, some people are born super intelligent. So of course, your nature, what is given to you, is just given to you. And your nurture, that's how you're brought up, is how you develop yourself. So here we have a few ideas. First of all, everybody who's a normal human is born with the same, abilities, general foundation. But then you get people who are born with different physical or mental natural abilities. They have maybe a higher level of natural abilities. And then you have people who are born into a better social position, which no matter how good your abilities are, sometimes you just need that push in social situations to get you above. So what does this mean for you? It means that following the way of the samurai is exactly about that. It's about understanding where you are born, what social class, what's your financial ability through your family, and then what's your natural ability, and then the bit of the samurai comes in with how can you broaden that? How can you educate yourself and rise above the place where you were born? So instead of just going through life like a peasant and you're just walking along, you're eating, you're having sex, you're sort of listening to music, you're doing whatever, whenever you feel like it. In Shingon Buddhism, it's called the goat mind. It's basically just react to your natural instincts, and it's not really the way of elevating yourself above other humans. So what we have to do in Natori Ryu is make sure we elevate who we are and bring ourselves to a higher position. And we do that through the way of the samurai. Now, doing this, what we do is we then don't look down on other people. What we do is try and aid other people and try and make it a positive thing in our lives and a positive thing in our friends' lives, and to give us skills and confidence and the abilities that samurai had inside of our brain, yeah? So the physical idea of the samurai is only a tiny bit, and what we do is called the brush and the sword. That means you learn how to physically fight with all the cool fighting you need, all the warfare tactics, everything that's there, military class things, but at the same time you educate yourself. Being a samurai is 50% warfare, 50% education. So you've got to really understand that it's going to be a difficult path. Right, so where do we start? So we're going to start with Book of the Samurai, and we are going to start on page 19. And I'm not going to give you a difficult concept here, I'm just going to give you a foundational concept. And this is the differences of types of samurai, the main three differences. You've got Gunposha, which is like a military tactician. You've got Gunbaisha, which is a person who understands the religious orders. But what I want to concentrate on today is just Gunsha. Now, all Isui Sensei says here, by the way, Isui Sensei is our master that we follow. He wrote these books in the 1670s. He says, Gunsha are samurai who are engaged in military service. That's all he says, that's it. So I want to use that. He also uses the word Ippei, which means independent soldier. So first, Gunsha is a military person. Ippei is a single soldier. That means an independent soldier. So what does this mean for you? It means as a samurai, you're not really a samurai, but following the samurai ways, you have to take control and responsibility for your own actions. You can't be lazy and go through your life getting money from other people but not doing anything, not building yourself. I know some people have family who donate money, some people have no family. The point is every day of your life has got to be spent building a better person. You've got to know when to work, you've got to know when to study, but you've also got to know when to relax. Relaxing and gathering your chi, gathering your energy is a big part of understanding how to be a human and how to be a higher person. So for you, you have to focus every day on a few things. You have to say, the sun has come up, what am I going to do today? Do I have to work to earn money? If you do, you've got to go to your job. If you don't like your job, start planning now to get a better job. And no matter what it takes, whether it takes training, whether it takes, another course, whether it takes you to make a risk, do it. I remember I'd left college and I was an undertaker. I enjoyed that job. But I had to leave because the boss was a little bit crazy. Not many people lasted there. He was too much. But then I ended up working in a bank, and then I ended up working, I remember once as a temp agency, and I was like filling the envelopes with people, where I filled the envelopes of the junk mail people threw away. That was my job. That's who I was. And another week I was doing data entry. I was just typing in numbers. I was a nothing and a nobody. So I decided then, no matter what it takes, I'm going to get this sorted. So I went to university, I went to Japan teaching, I came back, went to university again, I went back to Japan, and I built up to where we are now. So now I'm a published author, documentary worker, but this has taken me about 10 to 12 years to achieve. It wasn't an easy go change a job. This is a 12-year process that I set off on because I need to raise myself, like the way of the samurai, above the others. So I don't want to fill envelopes anymore. I don't want to data entry. This is what I want to do. So I made a plan and I did it. If you've got a job you don't like, change it. And it's possible. It's not impossible, but it will take a long time, a lot of effort. So just go with it. Second is, what am I doing in my daily life? Am I doing good things? Am I physically fit? Am I physically flexible? Am I intelligent enough? So instead of spending your afternoons watching TV, switch the television off and then go and read a decent book. That doesn't mean you have to study academically all the time. It just means fill a bit of your mind with some culture. Go get some tradition. You can learn about, if you love Japan, learn about Japanese ways. Isui Sensei says you have to learn about a little bit about tea ceremony, a little bit about poetry, a little bit about Chinese literary classics, and a little bit about sort of like flower arrangement, things like that. So if you need some culture and you love Japan, there's plenty of culture in Japan. But he does say don't be an expert in it. Your job is the military. The rest of it is just culture. So you've checked your job, you've checked what you're reading. The next thing is check who your friends are. Make sure you're hanging around and you're friends with the right people. Make sure you're not hanging around with scum, with idiots, with people who will bring you down. So, change your friendship group if you need to. I have done in the past for different reasons with different friends. And I've moved on to new friends because I want to be with people who can be a positive effect on my life. So you've changed your job, or you've looked at your job, you've looked at what you input every day, look at the food you eat, how good is that food, make sure it's good for you, and then make sure you have some relaxing time. Take some time out. That doesn't mean zone out in front of the TV. That is the wrong thing to do. The only time you should ever watch TV is when you're watching a film to relax. Say you go to in a storytelling idea. So you're not just binge watching films you're actually entering into a cultural story or a story with a bit of meaning or something that allows you to just have 1 hour relaxing. But that's not every day. You don't need to have a 1 hour TV or 2 hour TV binge every day. That should be once a week. You need to be watching things that are going to educate you, things that give you a bit of culture, and that could be it doesn't mean documentaries, boring documentaries. It means anything from sort of like the idea of the history of the Greeks to Troy the movie, to sort of find out and then go and study about Troy, or watch Gladiator and study about the gladiators. Give yourself something to chew over that's a bit of culture. And of course the relaxing bit. And of course strategy games like chess get your mind thinking. Learn Japanese Go, learn chess, learn card games. Anything that keeps your mind ticking over and active. And then lastly is grooming. Make sure you're well groomed. Make sure you're presentable. Don't wear silly clothes. Isui Sensei says, don't wear anything too feminine. Don't wear anything too over courtly, if you will, too much, but don't be a low class, don't look like a low class person. I never wear anything that says anything on the front, or I try not to as much as I can, and I usually only wear black, white or grey, just because they're the colours that keep you neutral, and I tend to keep my decorations in my house down to almost a medieval feel or quite a neutral feel. I like wood, black, white, and a little splash of gold here and there. And that's the way you should literally be thinking about your life as a samurai. That's because you're a gunja, you're a person who does military service. That is just the average samurai should have them before he even, thinks about anything else. So in your life, guys, as Natori Ryu students, is that what your life is like? Or are you opening lots of pizza boxes, binging out on television, doing nothing, not educating yourself, not moving yourself forward, and you live in a dream world where you post on Facebook some great samurai pictures, aren't I great, or look, I know this samurai word, aren't I clever? Really, you've got to break it down and break your day down and make sure you're doing something positive, because you've only got a set amount of days on this planet, and you need to crack on with those. Right, so my questions to you are, people in the Natori Ryu Hub, what can you do to make your life more like that? How can you make your life like that of a samurai? Now, I don't mean the historical samurai that go drinking, gambling, there's lots of examples of that. What I mean is the samurai ideal, the bushido, the chivalry. How can you perfect your life? Now, remember, there's the ideal and the reality. Now, the reality and the ideal are often met in the middle. There's the sort of like the basic needs of everyone and what they wish they were, and they try to strive towards it, but they're anchored in reality because there's certain things they have to do and there's certain things that life pressures on them. So, and of course you shouldn't be giving to any emotional outbursts, things like that. You've got to keep control. Isui Sensei says control your body, master your body actually, and master your mind. So this is all you've got to do, is the two things, is master your body and master your mind. Now I know that was long, guys, for you guys who are first into this, but if you stuck with me, we're going to keep going through it all the way, all the different things. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you. Remember, it's Book of the Samurai. Keep with us. Join us on the hub, and I look forward to anything you do with us in the future.